Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Andy from Wholesale-help.com, back with another episode of Reader's Questions.
Reader's Questions.
Today's question comes from John Jimmy right here on the YouTube channel. So John's saying, hey, I love your videos. I have a question for you. Would you be willing to make a video on what not to do when drop shipping, or what to look out for, or easy mistakes that shouldn't be made? Yes, I'll do that for you right now, John. I will talk about what not to do, but I think it's more important what to do, and definitely what to look out for, and also we're going to cover some of the mistakes that shouldn't be made. But let's be positive here and let's talk about all the things we definitely should be doing, because let's face it, there are infinite things that you shouldn't be doing. You shouldn't be looking up drop shipping suppliers while standing in a bucket of water during a lightning storm, for example. That's not a good thing to be doing. You shouldn't be trying to make a cup of tea in a chocolate teapot whilst researching dropshipping. That's also not a good thing to do. So I could go on for quite a long time about what not to do, but I think let's be more specific about it, John, and get into some positive ideas about what we definitely should be doing with dropshipping. So let's get cracking. Okay, what not to do. The first point I want to make is don't go for the low-hanging fruit. In other words, don't go for the first site you find, because it's not difficult to Google drop shipping or drop shippers and come up with some results. If you can find a website at the front of Google, so will 40,000 other people also looking to get into drop shipping. So there's a very good chance your competition is going to be massive for all those products on those sort of sites. Competition's your main problem with drop shipping, because it's a lot easier way to get into trading online and making money online. There are a lot of people that look to get into it, and a lot of people that want to try and make money this way. So what you need to do is avoid the simple approach. Don't go for the easy option. Don't go with the crowd, essentially. We need to look a bit further off the beaten track for some drop shippers we may be able to make use of. Ultimately, you don't want to find a product you like the look of, get onto eBay and find there are 52 separate sellers selling exactly the same item as you. They'll be competing against each other, driving down the price, and there'll always be someone who's prepared to sell something for a 45 pence profit. So what you end up doing is a lot of work for not very much money, and that's not a really good technique to employ. So now, John, I want to talk about what we should be doing. So starting at the beginning, always a good place to start, I find. Research. There is a website called GoofBid. I have featured it in previous videos. I'm not going to go into too much detail here. You can search on my YouTube channel for more information about GoofBid. Essentially, it's a very handy free resource for eBay sellers. You can use a whole host of different tools to research, look up, find bargains, and all sorts of really clever things. So the first thing you want to do is use the tools GoofBid has to offer to research your market, okay? If you've got a rough idea about the things you want to sell, get onto eBay and search for them. Find the suppliers that are selling a lot of them, the ones with a massive feedback and the massive stores that are selling loads of stuff every day. Take the eBay username, put it into the competitor research tool on GoofBay, and you can find out all about them. You can find out what their top selling products are, how much they're making every month. So you can really hone in on exactly what the best items they're selling are. You can also click on the checkbox for completed listings on eBay. So once you've done your search for that item, on the left-hand side, you can refine it for things like new, used, prices lowest to highest, that sort of stuff. There'll also be an option there for completed listings. You click that, and it will show you the prices for all the items that have sold recently. All the prices in green are the ones that have sold, the ones in red are the ones that have finished unsold. So you can get a really good idea of how much these items are going for. So you want to find the items that are selling strongly. You want to find as much information about those items, which colors, which sizes, which shapes, which brands are the ones that are selling most. And you want to find out what prices they're selling for. Then you can take this information and make an educated decision on what you're going to sell based on fact, rather than a decision plucked out of thin air, which is something that happens with a lot of people getting into eBay for the first time. Find your market first. Find what people are looking for first, then go out and find the product. Much better way round of doing it. It means when you start your business, it will be on a much firmer footing, and there's a much better chance you're going to make a success of your business. Okay, let's talk a little bit about product selection. So once you've got a few ideas of the sort of products that you think will sell well, they will be your keywords. So you want to crack open Google and start with a simple search, put that keyword in, plus the word dropshipping. As before, if it looks like a glossy dropshipping website, it makes it really easy for you to sign up and start dropshipping, then the chances are millions of other people will also be doing that. So be wary of those sort of sites. You can also put your product keyword in, followed by supplier or wholesale, and actually find a wholesaler of that product. Why not get in touch with that supplier and say, if I pay for this product, will you send it directly to my customer and send me the paperwork? Basically, you're asking for a dropshipping arrangement. You can only ask, and you'll either get a yes or you'll get a no. So it's very worthwhile asking, because what you'll actually find is if they say yes, you'll have your own exclusive dropshipping arrangement. You'll have no other dropshipping competitors in that market. You'll only be competing with people selling wholesale, which means you're on a level playing field, which makes a big difference. So that's well worth doing. You'll probably get more no's than yeses, but that one yes could make your whole business. So it's well worth finding a supplier and asking the question. To tempt the supplier even more, you can suggest you pay up front. I'll buy 50 units of this from you, as long as you keep hold of it, and as I sell them, I'll give you the customer names and you can ship it for me. That might just be enough to sweeten the deal. A lot of high volume wholesalers won't be interested in the slightest. They sell pallet loads of stock, they sell container loads of stock. They are essentially all about volume, and they have no interest in selling individual items. But some smaller wholesalers or smaller suppliers that offer wholesale deals, they may be prepared to operate in this sort of way. So as I said, you can only ask and they can only say no. All right, what's next? Choose wisely. This part of the process is well worth taking your time on, because essentially this supplier is going to have your reputation in their hands. If you find a drop shipper that isn't reliable, it's your reputation on eBay that's going to suffer. You could cause yourself some real problems by choosing the wrong supplier. So take a bit of time at this point. It's easy to get excited and want to rush on and start listing some things and making some money. After all, that's the fun part. But you're just wasting your time if you jump on board with the wrong supplier. To take a bit more time, find the right supplier for you and your niche, and it will pay off tenfold in the future. Ask your supplier about returns. If my customer doesn't want this, how are we going to go about getting it back to you? If they're already a drop shipper, they'll have a process for this, but you need to know exactly how it works. You don't want to get stuck with paying for something that gets lost, because once again, you're going to be the one that's missing out, not the drop shipper. Figuring these sorts of things out now will save you a lot of time and hassle in the future. And lastly, create compelling listings. The amount of times I still see sellers who are supposedly selling for profit and not selling their own things around the home, created a listing with 3 lines of plain text and nothing else. Seriously, people here, if you're going to try and create a business that makes you money, spend a bit of time. I mean, this should be obvious. You want to try and make your listing look attractive. You want people to stop at your listing and read it properly and make a decision about buying from you, and not the other guy. So if you've got 3 lines of text, you're not saying much about yourself, apart from, I couldn't be bothered to spend any more time on this. Even if you can't afford to buy a really flashy looking listing template, that's okay. It doesn't take much to make a nice title at the top of the page, to format the text nicely, maybe embed an image in your listing. Just take your time to format the listing nicely. Make it look professional, make it look neat and tidy, make them want to stay and read more about your item. As always, take a good picture. If you're not happy with the stock picture you get from the supplier, order one and take the picture yourself. There are even professional photographers that you can send your item to that will take a really nice professional picture of your item. I've definitely seen a few of them on Fiverr, so for $5 you can ship your product to that person They'll take some really nice, well-lit professional product photos for you and email you the results. This is well worth investing a small amount of money to create great pictures, because they make a big difference in selling your product. And of course, you'll have an edge over your competition because you'll have something they won't. You won't have identical images to them, and these are the things that make all the difference. So it says up here, use related keywords. It should stand to reason, people, if you want to sell something on eBay, people are going to search using the search box, so you need to put all the relevant keywords in that title. Don't put keywords that aren't related to the item, because that's not allowed and eBay will take your listing down. But make sure you are as descriptive as possible in that title, because that's how people are going to find your listing. This also applies if you're selling wholesale products on eBay as well as drop shipping. Okay, John, I think that's all the bases covered. Don't forget, spend a bit of time researching it. Make sure you choose the right product, choose the right supplier, and create good looking listings. If you found this video useful, I'd appreciate it if you hit the thumbs up button for me and like the video. It would also be very cool if you hit the share tab and tweeted this or Facebooked it. If you haven't got yourself a Wholesale Help membership, I'm still offering free access to the Wholesale Help Members Club. You can click up here on the top left, and that will take you through to the sign up form. If you haven't subscribed to the Wholesale Help YouTube channel, you can do that by clicking in the top right hand corner around about here. So that's it for today's video. I hope this has been useful to you, John, and has given you a bit more information about what you need to do. As usual, people, thank you very much for watching. My name's Andy Lawrence, and I will catch you on the very next video.